Hey, welcome to this post Armory deck profile. Today I won the
Who are
Friday
you?
night. I'm Daniel Real, by the way, in case you don't know.
And tonight at our Friday Night Armory, you played what?
Completely ruined my flow. I was playing Bravo.
And how many rounds were there, and how did you do?
So 4 rounds I went 4-0. So
Can you tell us what heroes you played against?
This is like rapid fire in the hot seat. So first round was versus Chain. Second round was the mirror match. Third round was Warrior. And fourth round was Warrior again. So I don't really think of myself as a very good Bravo player, but I'm quite good at playing against Warrior.
Yeah.
So I think that's what helps the most. But anyway, this is quite a simple Bravo deck. They tend to be kind of feeling similar.
They don't
So
really change too much. Of
just
course,
go
you
over
have your
some things.
heroes. Your seismic surges are very
Yeah.
important to be making them as often as you can.
Yeah, we'll probably just go through the cards fairly quickly and then talk about some of the matchups and
Yeah.
gameplay, because I think that was more interesting.
Yeah.
So for the equipment, fairly standard. I am missing a few cards from this deck just because I haven't found them at home and I'm lazy.
Yeah.
So we got Anathos. It's our weapon of choice. Got Skullcap.
Basically, the only
armor.
weapon you're going to play, I imagine.
Tectonic is fantastic. Kratos for the armor. Iron Rot Legs, as it's our best in slot for armor. And I've got 3 null runes. So I'm missing null rune chest, but it should be in the deck.
Yeah.
So you run all 4 null rune, and that's it. It's fairly standard.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Now we'll go on to the blues, because this is where Bravo decks tend to differ a little bit, and I've probably done something weird.
Yeah. So one debilitate.
One debilitate. So this is good because the -2 actually does hurt quite a few decks, and it can drop to 3 off a seismic surge.
Yeah.
And also just blues that you can dominate off 2 blues can often be for lethal. So
Yeah.
it's good to have a healthy number of attacks for around 5 and 6 range, so that you do actually have lethal sometimes
Yeah.
when your opponent drops low. We have Lost at Chiefets. So this is a pretty cuttable card. It's 3, costs 3, attacks for 4, and blocks
Lots
3.
of 3.
So basically, the idea for it is that it's a relatively high attack blue, so it counts towards your Rouse the Ancients.
Yeah.
And in the Guardian Mirror, or if you're decking, you can use it to get some extra value, although
Yeah.
that very rarely happen.
Yeah.
It's just like a staple card. You've Roused the Ancients. I think I'll talk about that a little bit later. You have Chokeslam. This kind of fulfills the same role as Debilitate, being a 4 cost 6 attack. If it deals more 4 or more damage, they can't gain attack on their attack action cards, which is pretty relevant for Chain.
Very important to slow down chain from
Yeah.
rift binds and whatnot.
Yeah, you won't often play this, but it is one of the nicer crush effects if you do somehow find yourself in a situation where
Well,
you
you can.
do
Yeah.
want to attack them with a card. Pretty rare, but it can happen. We have 3 disables. This is one of the best blues in the deck because it's a CNC that you can dominate.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely fantastic. 7 is a good breakpoint, so you can even play it off 2 blues, and it has to be blocked by 3 cards.
Yeah.
So this card is fantastic.
2 cards.
Hmm?
Has to be blocked by 2 cards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So 3 cards to block all the damage.
Yeah. Usually it will get blocked by 2 though, just
Yeah.
because of the crush effect.
Towering Titan is for playing against non-interactive decks and for first turn shenanigans. So if you draw this on first turn with 3 other blues, you can play it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it just kind of is a blue that blocks 3.
Yeah, pitches for 3.
Exactly
it's
right.
basically-
So the opportunity cost for your blues is really low. Just if it's blue blocks 3 and costs 3, then you can fit it into the deck. You can just pick and choose the ones you like.
Yeah.
This is one of the best blue block 3s. It's Showtime. So I play this quite a lot. Drawing an extra card is fantastic, and it can help set up a Crippling Crush if you want, or set up your important cards. Spinal Crush. Yeah, so it's really nice to have, and you can often play it. Like if you can play Blessing and then Showtime,
Yeah.
that's excellent as well. 3 Stamp Authorities. So this card can give you extra intellect. Kind of function similar to Showtime, but I don't think it's quite as good.
Yeah.
This is kind of one of the ones that I'm a bit more iffy about.
It's not bad though.
It's not bad. Like I say, it usually just blocks 3, pitches 3. Blue unmovable. These are really important for your worry matchup, and your chain matchup as well. Just being able to block 6 from Arsenal off a single card is a really powerful effect.
Yeah.
And we don't play the red unmovables because they brick up your hands.
Yeah.
They don't work well. So if you draw 2 blue unmovables, you can use one to pay for the other. So they don't brick each other like the red ones do. If you draw 2 red unmovables, you can just go and cry.
Yeah.
Because you got 2 cards that don't block in your blocking deck.
Exactly.
So blue unmovables are quite good. We have
Cranial Crush.
Cranial Crush. It's just the crush effect is not usually very relevant, but it has a big attack power, so it can turn on your Rousey Ancients.
Yeah.
And it has a big attack power, so it can hit people for 3 or 4 for lethal sometimes. Most of the time it's blue and blocks 3. That's the name of the game. Crush the Weak is actually quite powerful against Chain. So sometimes these are actually worth playing because they require a card to block. But usually blue block 3. Blue Blessings. In some longer matchups, it's great to just be able to increment up life. And because it replaces itself, it can be really efficient.
Yeah.
Especially if you know what's on the top of your deck with like Fate Foreseen or
another
basically
Blitz-A-Thon.
Fate Foreseen, right? Or another Blessing.
Blitz-A-Thon that's expired the turn. Yeah.
So you usually end up drawing, but yeah, sometimes you know what's on top or you know what's coming up with your pitch order.
Yeah.
So Blue Blessing is always a great card. And it blocks 3. It doesn't cost 3, so there is that issue of not turning Anathos on for 6.
Yeah.
But the effect is worth the downside. Then we have one of the new cards, Rousey Ancients, and this is meant to be like the new standout powerhouse, and I didn't play it a single time today.
Yeah, I think it's I think the decks that you played with actually don't demand it to be played.
Yeah, well, you'll notice a lot of these cards don't actually have any attack.
Yeah.
So you do actually have to draw it together with your reds and your yellows to actually have a decent shot. So I think the plan for Rousey Ancients is it's a blue pitch 3 that you can kind of set up in the end game.
Yeah. I think it's if you don't need all your blues in your hand and it's in your hand and it's an Arsenal card.
Arsenal as well.
Because you will draw that red at a later turn and you'll be like, oh well, this is live and I can do this.
Yeah.
And then still swing for another 6 with weapon.
I didn't end up playing it today, but I mean the card was in my deck. I just didn't physically play it.
Yeah.
If the games did go a bit longer, I could set that up and look for that kill condition.
But,
yeah.
It just wasn't there.
It just wasn't to be today.
Yep.
Those are all the blues. And we'll get through the yellows very quickly.
So most of these blues just stay in every one of your matchups. You don't really side any of them out, do you?
No.
I think the blues are they're actually a core part of the deck.
I've got a few blues actually that I've left in for sideboarding. Oh yeah, these are some new additions. So these are the cards I sideboard out quite a bit. So you've got Energy Potion and Strength Potion. These are for my slower matchups where I can afford to take time off and set up.
Yeah.
And then we've got a newcomer to the deck, and this is to help solve Chain.
Yeah. So you played against Chain in the first round. How relevant was this to the matchup?
It actually wasn't relevant. I did draw them, but I didn't draw them in places that they were
helpful.
Basically, in my opinion, the Chain player played the matchup wrong, and that made these cards worse than they would normally be.
Yeah.
So he was very aggressively attacking me. He was using his red.
He wasn't stockpiling and getting ready.
Yeah, he was pitching his seeds a bit, but he wasn't really pitching. He was just playing his Riftbinds from Bannerstone when they got there. So my snags weren't there to counter the 15 damage Riftbind because it just never happened.
Yeah, never came.
So I was able to just block him out and survive. I had managed to get a crucial Spinal Crush off on turn 5.
Yeah.
And that meant he just had to take the turn off, take the damage, and basically just let me put a defense reaction in Arsenal.
Yeah.
So I was able to win off that crucial turn and just block him out of the game. So I won with about 9 health and 2 armor pieces left, which is pretty respectable.
Yeah, it's quite a distance.
Because they can be such an explosive deck.
Yeah.
We've got for the yellows, we've got 3 yellow disables. Again, this is one of the best attack actions in the deck. Being 8 is still like a really strong breakpoint. It means they have to block 2 cards at least to turn the crush effect off.
3.
No.
Oh yeah, sorry, my bad. I'm
block for
doing
6.
math. I'm really tired. I'm doing math
It's
wrong.
been a long night.
It's been a long day, long night.
So 3 disables. This card is just excellent. Makes you put pressure on decks to spend cards when they would like to keep them. It's CNC for Bravo edition, basically.
Yeah.
Got 2 4/4s. This card is on the cutting block.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any matches where it's very, very
Yeah.
important.
It's okay in chain, but even when I do play it in chain, it's like, it's alright.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time I just end up blocking with it anyway.
Yeah.
So it's on the cutting block. Maybe we go for some more blues. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I actually have a few spaces left in the deck because I'm just missing some cards.
Yeah.
So I need to add 3 blue pummels to the deck. Got space for them. Just
Yeah.
need to actually go and find them. And we've got 1 remembrance. So this could probably be bumped up to 2 for the mirror match.
Yeah.
But again, just talking about the card, it's really useful. It gets your crippling crushes back, gets your spinal crushes back, gets your blessings if you need your blessings. So this really helps you go long. So very useful for the mirror, useful for dash as well, just because you can crippling crush them multiple times.
Yeah.
Yep. Just
Usually
really
though,
useful
that
card,
doesn't
right?
help them at all.
Yeah, the dash matchup is very difficult.
Yeah.
But dash is not so popular anymore, so it's not such a big thing to worry about.
Yeah. I think for any matchups where you're looking at longevity is very good.
Yeah.
That remembrance just makes it.
We've got 2 red staunch response. This is a premier Guardian defense reaction. It just is so tall.
Yeah.
It's really hard for people to get over. If people surprise you with how much they're going over, like that's the thing with a lot of defense reactions. You're like, I can not block anything and then block 4, but if they go over that 4, they go over that 8, then like I don't have anything more to stop them.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to tentatively block 1 card and then say I've got another defense reaction that you've committed to playing. So say like Warrior swings for 5, you
Yeah.
block 3 with a normal card with a second defense reaction, then just to stop them coming over, right?
Yeah.
But if they do nothing, you still have to play it. If
Yeah.
it's like a Warrior's Valor or something. So, but with these, a lot of the time you can just say, I'm going to take it, and if they're going to do extra stuff, sweet, cool. I've got 10 in my pocket from Arsenal.
Yeah.
So,
Very, very important at
Yeah.
breaking the breakpoints, getting rid of those counters.
Very powerful in the Warrior matchup, and also good in the mirror. So, super powerful. 3 Spinal Crushes. These are your silver bullets in the chain matchup.
Yeah.
You want to try and get at least one of these off if you can. Otherwise, the matchup is going to be very difficult to win.
Yeah.
But it's powerful against a lot of decks. You know, it's back breaking literally for Ninja.
Yeah.
And it's decent against Warrior as well because it means they can't play their Red Warrior's Valor.
They can't
or their
swing
Free
twice.
Pumps, basically,
Yeah.
and they can't swing. So a very powerful card, 9, and being able to play it off 2 blues with a Seismic Surge and
Yep.
Dominate. Dominated off 2 blues with a Seismic Surge means that this can quite frequently kill people.
Yeah.
We have Crippling Crush.
One of the hearts and souls of the deck.
Yeah, what needs to be said about this card? This
It
card
hurts.
is massive. So the idea for this card is you usually won't play it the first time you see them. You usually end up pitching them
Yeah.
to set up with your blues on the bottom of the deck, and then you'll go through them with rapid succession at the end of the game.
Yeah.
But sometimes you'll just draw them and the stars align and you'll play them.
Yeah.
This matchup, this card introduces a bit of RNG into the game, just because if you draw them together, they are
Dead.
absolutely terrible, just because they can't do anything. So it's going to be quite common for you to just pitch this Seismic Surge, pitch a blue, and come for 6.
I was watching, so I watched your brother Mirror, and
She,
Bo drew all 3 of them in
Yeah.
one hand, and another red, I think it was Spinal.
yeah,
All 3 of them in Spinal in hand. And it's just yuck.
it was Command and Conquer. Command and Conquer was the last card, I think.
No, I think it was.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that even like with the reds, you still draw badly sometimes.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had a couple terrible turns in that game as well.
Yeah.
So yeah. But Bravo isn't about, as much as it is bad when it does happen and you draw 4 reds. Bravo is about surviving those bad turns and turtling up until you can actually get through and play your game. That's why it's so important to set up.
Yeah.
So, very good card. With 3 pummels. I have a love-hate relationship with pummel. This is the card that breaks most often.
Yeah.
It's like the card that most often just cannot be played. You set it in Arsenal, it just sits there forever.
Yeah.
But when you do get it off, it's such a huge game on you. You know, it's
These two hand in hand. Ooh wee.
Yeah, well, it's so hard to play this on this.
Yeah. When you do, though.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, pummel is so impactful when you play it that it just has a place in the deck. But sometimes it does feel really bad. Outmuscle is an attack action that I've been trying out. It's probably going to get cut, but it has some really good application against decks that might want to block 1 or 2 cards and don't have 6 attacks. So it's actually not too terrible against Ninja, despite the 2 block, and it's not too terrible against Warrior either. And you know, it blocks Prism, and it has some uses. It's probably one of the weaker cards, but it's interesting to try out. New card from Monarch. 3 red Blessing of Deliverance. So these cards are really powerful because it's typically about 6 life just sitting in your deck.
Yep.
And they don't cost you a card to play if you set up properly, because it would just be pitch a blue, play Blessing, draw a blue.
Yeah.
So the card actually replaces itself. So unlike Sigil, which you play it and the card is gone, goes to the graveyard and you don't get anything back, these refund you. So this card is especially powerful and helps you really early in the chain game. And yeah, just like game, it's great.
Yeah, it's a great card.
And then we got just the regular defense reactions. So we got 3 Sync Blows and 3 Fate for Saints. And this is just because they're cheap, they're great to put in your arsenal, they ruin Warrior's day.
They help tutor your hand.
Exactly, right?
Sync Blow is very important for those hands where you draw 3 Crippling Crushes and you just like, yikes.
Yeah. Sync Below tends to fix some of your bad hands, or dig them deeper sometimes.
Fate for Scene
is excellent for your blessings. You can check the top card of your deck. Oh, it's a blue, cost 3. I can play my blessing safely, draw it, and then hammer.
Yeah, or you see a red Crippling and you've got 3 blues in hand. You go, yep, this is good to draw.
Exactly, right. So, a lot of some Guardian cards are terrible or amazing to draw at any point in time.
Yeah.
So these let you basically check the top card of your deck and see if you want it or not. And I think a lot of skill in the deck comes from when to use these.
Yeah.
Just because they have so many applications in this deck.
Yeah.
With the drawing and the gaining life and you know,
tutoring.
Impactful.
Yeah.
Yeah, this deck cares a lot about pitch, so you have to be careful what you put on the bottom as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And that is the deck. So, I guess we'll talk about matchups.
Yes, chain matchup. It is considerably hard from what we know.
Yeah, so if you want to look at the chain matchup, we made an entire video on it. In the first video in the Art of War +1 series, Chain vs Bravo, and basically what you try to do is you try and block them out.
Yeah.
And you try and use relevant crush effects to halt their plan.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate because my opponent didn't quite set up powerfully enough, and I was able to block him out and kill him.
Yeah.
Second matchup was Mirror. That was my hardest matchup of the day because I'm not very well practiced on it.
Yeah.
I struggle when I play Bravo players from Auckland, especially.
Yeah.
Because they're so good. You know, KL and...
We'll probably do some testing, Bravo Mirror testing over the next couple of days.
Yeah, but I think it is a weak spot for me as a player. And I do find it hard. I don't feel super confident giving lots of advice on it. But yeah, I stumbled through it and I played very aggressively. I played 5 Crippling Crushes over the course of the game using my Remembrance.
Yeah.
So it worked out, but I'm not sure if I went about it the greatest way. I'll just be honest with that. And then the last 2 matchups were Warrior, which I feel playing against Warrior is my absolute strength. I love playing against Warrior. I played Warrior for over a year.
Yeah. So you know when the breakpoints are, you know when to block and know when to hold the block back.
I can spot a lot of the habits that Warrior players have and can guess what they're trying to do fairly frequently. You know, sometimes they get blown out. Red Iron Song is the most common one, and Twinning Blade are the most common cards that blow you out, but most of the turns are fairly simple once you know, and Guardian offers you so much safety with how powerful the defense reactions are.
Storage Response was insane.
Yeah, you can punish their off turn super heavily with your crush effects.
Yeah.
Pummel is insane in the matchup if you actually get it off.
Yeah.
So if you're struggling against Warrior as a Bravo player, just remember that you can play the matchup slowly, you can let them play out, you can let them get counters.
Yeah.
Try not to let them get two, but the first counter they get, don't just shove your armor into it. Play it safe. If you have to block 12 cards, play to your defense reactions in your arsenal. Yeah. You don't have to be incredibly scared of them.
No.
You can roll with them.
Yeah.
But you do need to respect them at the same time.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of time and practice. If you want to get better at the Warrior matchup, the absolute best way to learn Warrior, or to beat Warrior, is to build a Warrior deck, start playing Warrior, and then find an opponent that is also a Warrior player, and just play the mirror.
Yeah.
Play the mirror a million
insane
times.
For knowledge, to be honest.
Yeah. One of the fastest ways to get good at Flesh and Blood is just to play Warrior against Warrior.
Yeah.
Play with your tunics, play to your shunts, work out what you can do, aggro, mid-range control, and just play all the different modes of Warrior, play it in the different ways, and then you can just apply that to other classes when you move on. And I feel like that's something that every really serious Flesh and Blood player should pick up Warrior at some point.
Yeah.
The deck is a powerhouse, and it teaches you so much about the game.
Yeah.
And once you do learn how to play Warrior, it can feel a bit like you're using like voodoo magic. You can see your opponent's hand when you do guess it right and know the matchup well.
Yeah.
So big recommendation from me. That's the Bravo deck. Pretty meta dependent. Does really well into Warrior. So if you're struggling with them, I recommend it.
Yeah.
And definitely be interesting to see whether these snags are impactful against
enough.
Chain. We will let you know.
Yeah.
We'll probably talk about this on the podcast at some point.
It's probably going to come up next week, to be honest, because we're probably going to find out what it's like tomorrow quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to test a bunch with this card. We're going to chuck it in a bunch of different decks, and we're going to get a verdict on it, whether or not it does actually conquer Chain or not.
Yeah.
So that's the deck. That was tonight's Armory. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. We just hit 500 subscribers.
Yeah,
so
thank you guys. We very much appreciate that.
First edition Crucible box opening at 1,000 subscribers. So we're a wee ways, but we got to get started.
And tune in for our next.
Yeah, tune in for the next podcast coming out on Wednesday, and more Art of War Plus ones.
Yeah.
Gameplay videos coming out.
As well as the Armory next Friday again.
Yeah. So there's going to be constant content coming out of our channel weekly, 3 or 4 videos that you can watch and enjoy. So, keep it fab. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.